You ever thought about what goes into making a Watchmojo list? Well, fortunately, you will get the answers tonight. See, she's ready. She knew what was coming. Hi, I'm Dino, alongside my co-host Mikey, and welcome to
Hello.
Final Cut Presents the Director's Cut podcast. And today, as you can see, we have a big star with us. We have one of the main presenters of Watchmojo, and we've been talking for quite a while, not quite a while, but a bit of time, and I am absolutely more than thrilled and honoured to have her on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you from Watchmojo, Phoebe.
Hi, thank you so much for calling me a big star. What an amazing compliment.
Well, technically, O'Shea Jackson's a fan of yours, so I would consider that a big star.
Yeah, he's a big star. So if he's a big star, then I guess I am too.
So, obviously, the inevitable question is, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. We've been working from home for the past almost 6 months now. So just kind of getting into the groove of things, but things are really good. Thank you.
Just before we get on to the interview, there is a bit of news I'd like to share. Well, I woke up on Thursday morning expecting something regarding Ryan Reynolds to be a movie, but it's nothing about that. He has actually been lined up to buy a little 50-year football or soccer club called Wrexham. And he's actually done that with Rob. I think I'm pronouncing this guy's name right. Oh, I can't remember. I think he did. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. It's Rob something. I can't pronounce his name.
Rob McElhenney.
That's it. Thank you. So yeah, I did not expect that to be gracing my headlines on Thursday morning. I think it's actually quite shocking, and it's actually quite good as well.
He's diversifying his portfolio. I'm obsessed with Always Sunny, so this is exciting news.
What does our other resident Canadian have to say?
Oh, I'm just trying not to interrupt so far. I haven't really watched It's Always Sunny. I more so just haven't had time on top of trying to game and everything. So
Yeah, it's actually quite nice that Ryan Reynolds actually wants to buy a club that's not really big, but could be on the way up and could be good because they were actually quite good. So if Ryan is listening, and he might be, good luck with it. Just don't bring any Deadpool stuff into it because you'll probably get hammered. This is where it's after. Now, a bit of sad news from me and Fraser because we are both fans of this show. Supergirl has been cancelled after its next season, and to say I am mortified is probably the biggest understatement in the history of understatements. I'm absolutely gutted because I love that show. I think the reason is, I'm not entirely 100% sure why, but I think it might be to do with the fact that Melissa's just had a baby, and congratulations to her, by the way. But I think that might be the reason why she doesn't want to be like a full-time mom and a full-time car as well. So if it's for that reason, I completely understand.
I've never watched the show, but I know that it has an enormous fan base, so sad for you guys.
Yeah, we are part of that fan base.
Yeah.
Although it is a bit funny that that's been cancelled and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman's actually getting his own show, which is a bit weird. But there is another reason you could think about it. Warner Brothers has always wanted to bring Supergirl into the DCEU, so maybe that's another reason why.
That's interesting.
Well, if they ever do the Legion of Superheroes, depending on the approach they take with her, the way I think it will end, because I read too much DC stuff, I think she's going to end up going with Brainiac 5 and going to the future and possibly joining the Legion. But I blame the Justice League Unlimited days from that really epic episode where she got to go to the future and team up with them. That's why I hope it ends like that, because it'd be awesome.
Big fan of Kevin Conroy, I am. That's why I've always said he's the best Batman. The Emmys were this last week, and Zendaya won the Best Actress award, the youngest one ever, so congratulations to her. Although what doesn't sit well with me is people consider that to be an upset, but I don't think it was. Because I have actually seen a bit of Euphoria, and she does well in that. So I don't think that's an upset at all. I think that is justified.
Yeah, I think we need to revisit the definition of upset, because I feel like some people think it's negative and other people think it has to do with it being, unexpected. But at the same time, Zendaya is a phenomenal actress. So one way or another, that's an incorrect assessment of her win, right?
Need we say any more, Fraser?
No, not really. I think now the definition of that word gets used when people are upset about who won mostly.
Mm.
So last bit of news before we get on to our biggie part of the interview is Gigi Hadid has had a little girl. I mean, we already went on about how Melissa has just had a baby as well. Gigi's had a girl and Melissa's had a boy, so congratulations to both of them. Just a little word, a bit of advice for Gigi if she's listening. If you ever want to put the baby to sleep and she's crying, just hand it to Zane. He'll sing her to sleep. Works. Right, so we've been waiting for this for quite a while, haven't we, Fraser?
Yep.
We have been looking forward to this a lot. So, Miss Phoebe from Watchmojo. So I guess the first question is a bit obvious. How did you get to work at Watchmojo?
Well, I had applied like 7 times. It was one of those things where I had worked with someone before at a film production studio who ended up moving to Watchmojo, and I knew Watchmojo. I was a fan of Watchmojo, so I applied, and it's not always easy to get noticed just by sending an email. So I applied like literally 7 times. That's my claim to fame at Watchmojo, that I never gave up. And finally, I started working there, and it's been 3 years now. So
Kind of like having a driving test when you fail 7th time and you pass the 8th time.
exactly. But I don't give up. I persevered.
Well, I didn't give up, and I've got it here, which I couldn't be happier for. Because I know I've been saying that me and Fraser have been looking forward to this, but we genuinely have, because we're big fans of Watchmojo.
Yeah.
Although, Fraser, who's your favourite host? And bearing in mind we have a host here.
Tell the truth. I don't care.
It's Phoebe.
It is? Oh my God.
Yep.
You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie. I wouldn't be hurt.
No, you've done like some of the most epic videos. Like that's what drew me back to Watchmojo. Because after a while, I kind of hiatus. I just was watching too many things, and then I got to go back, and I just really enjoyed it.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. That's so nice.
Well,
you're welcome.
I must admit, I kind of are on the ropes between Phoebe and Rebecca, but I must admit, I do chat with Phoebe more on Twitter, so I'm a bit biased, so I'm going to say Phoebe as well. But Rebecca, we love you both. We love you just as much.
Dean sheds the one tear quietly behind his glasses.
Yes, I do. Rebecca's going to hate me now for the rest of my life.
No.
So obviously there's there's the Brayton sisters, which is a formidable combination. So how many presenters are there actually at Watchmojo?
There's a lot. There's Ashley for Watchmojo UK. There's Ricky, who does mostly like the video game and Mojo Plays stuff. And then we also have Fernando on Watchmojo Espanol. There are also people that kind of come in and out and participate in different on-camera stuff that we do, like podcasts. So there's Matt Campbell, who was in charge of like the Cinephiles Extended Cut, which was the podcast that we did a few years ago. There was Liam. There's always just kind of like a rotating cast of characters, which is what makes it really fun. And of course, there are people on our more international channels who I don't even know what's going on with that because there's just so many different things going on. So yeah, there's a lot.
Now, I'm going to say you've already mentioned like the Spanish version. How many different divisions do you actually think there is? Because we obviously know of Watchmojo. I know of Miss Mojo, Mojo Plays. And obviously being in England, there is a Watchmojo UK. So how many would you say roughly there is? Doesn't have to be exact.
I mean, I couldn't even tell you because there's so many. There's they're always kind of branching out into different territories. So there's obviously Watchmojo Espanol, but then there's like Watchmojo Russia, Watchmojo Poland. These are things that are kind of like beyond the scope of my duties there. So I'm not really involved at all. There's also Sound Mojo, which is like more of a music channel, which is a lot of fun. There's too many. I honestly don't even know, and I work there, so.
I'll be mentioning that to my lady because she is a big music fan. So it's called, what is it called? Watchmojo Sound or Sound Watchmojo?
Sound Mojo.
Right, I'll keep an eye out for that for us. So obviously, as we are interested, and no doubt everyone listening and watching is interested, how exactly does making a list work? How exactly does it all work?
Well, I mean, I won't give away all of our trade secrets, but
I wouldn't expect you to.
No, I know. There's a lot of different things that go into making a list, and luckily I work with a team of people who are like super creative and intelligent, and we all kind of work together to develop ideas for lists. And obviously our fans suggest ideas to us as well, and then we kind of, debate them internally, we write them, we script edit, voice, and then we have a team of video editors and freelance video editors. So it kind of goes through that. There are some like little things here and there that I might not mention on the podcast because, gotta.
Which I wouldn't expect you to, because everyone has their trade secrets. I mean, yeah. I have mine. I know for a fact Fraser has his. I'm not sure what trade secrets he has, but he has some.
Don't we all?
So here's a question that's always made me a bit curious. It's like, how do you keep track of all the topics you've had? Because you must have done thousands of topics. So it's kind of like, how do you go into the office one day and say, right, I want to do this, but I'm not quite sure if I've done it or not?
Yeah, that's something that we often will have an issue with, where somebody suggests a great idea that's really contemporary, has to do with something that's going on in the media right now. And then it turns out that we've already done it. So that happens a lot with like celebrity lists and stuff. But we always just go to YouTube, that's where all of our videos live. So we check those out. But a lot of people who work at Watchmojo have good memories. So someone will pitch an idea and someone else will say, I think we did that 3 years ago. And then we'll check and that's the case. So we try not to repeat.
I'd be no good because my memory is about as good as a fish. Honestly, it's absolutely terrible. So obviously, there is difficulty with lists. Just how difficult is it? I do know of one difficulty, because when you do a WWE list, you can't use any footage because WWE is not particular, but they're quite sensitive with their copyright. Because I know a few YouTubers who have had real problems with people using their footage.
Yeah, so we basically kind of stick to the laws of, how would you even say that? Like remixing, basically. Fair use is something that we, that's our Bible, fair use, essentially. Again, that's not really my department. We have people who are more involved in that kind of stuff, but we also use like images and stuff. We always have a workaround, and we try to be as creative as possible with that kind of stuff.
So obviously, like you've mentioned previously, with COVID being present, it has kind of slowed Watchmojo down a bit, but not really, because you're still pumping stuff out daily. But obviously, it has its difficulties, as everything does. So what's been the best thing and the worst thing about working from home?
The best thing is that I can work in my pajamas.
What a girl. What a girl. I love this girl. How could you not love this girl after that?
I know everybody had said, like, when you're working from home, you should get ready in the morning. You should, put on like the clothes that you would put on to go to work. It'll make you feel better. But I literally roll out of bed and walk into my office and start working. But it works for me. And the worst thing would probably be, I miss my coworkers. Like, working at Watchmojo, one of the best parts about it is that we get to be super collaborative with one another, spend a lot of time with one another, discussing ideas. And that's kind of something that I definitely miss working from home.
I know another thing you miss as well. It's all the movie festivals and interviews done, because you've done some for Bloodshot, because I have seen your Twitter. And I know for a fact Rebecca's done the Spider-Man Far From Home, in which case, a lot of people might not know this, but she literally reduced Tom Holland to a fanboy. I have never seen someone so happy to see someone, and I've never seen anyone as Zendaya such embarrassed in her life. So, obviously, is there any coming up that you would like to do? Obviously, depending on when everything's been relaxed a bit more.
Dune.
Oh.
Dune.
Nice.
Yeah, Dune. Honestly, like I'm a fan of the original movie, and when I found out that Denis Villeneuve was remaking it, who's one of my favorite directors, he's actually from Montreal, And so I was so excited about that. And the cast is just phenomenal. Like you mentioned before, Rebecca got to meet Zendaya. I want to meet Zendaya. She's so phenomenal. And then you have obviously Timothy Chalamet, Oscar Isaac. These are all
Dave
people
Bautista, you got Jason Momoa. Yep, I've been keeping up to. I even saw that list about June as well.
Yeah.
I watched it many a time, just because. But to be fair, June absolutely looks to be exquisite. And I absolutely agree with what you said. That was Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how you pronounce his name properly. He has actually been training for that his entire directing life. So
big time sci-fi director, and I think he's like the perfect person to do this movie, especially because he has such a great track record. Especially with, I never remember the name of it. The name of the Amy Adams movie with
Arrival.
Arrival.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie was just like insanely good.
He did Blade Runner 2049 as well.
Yeah.
I have never seen Dave Bautista so fragile in my life. I was absolutely gobsmacked. But I like it how he recreated the essence of Ridley Scott's original as well. That's what sort of got me like, do you know what? I actually agree with him directing that because he can actually do that.
Yeah. Another movie of his that I really like that's kind of a departure from the sci-fi is Prisoners.
With Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah,
I love that movie. It's so good. I just watched it recently, actually, and it's like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Then again, we don't. When is it? When is it out? Because even I'm not sure about this. We could go for next year.
Here,
should we just say next year and move on?
2020, November 18th. I don't think that'll happen.
That's why I sort of planned for next year. Now, me and Phoebe have actually discussed this phrase, but Rebecca actually has a quiz called it's called Name That List, isn't it? Just had to
What the list? Yeah.
Now I've suggested that we have a Emily versus Rebecca special with Phoebe as host, which you have actually liked on Twitter. So what do you think needs to be done for that to happen? Do I literally have to go beg into Rebecca and Emily on Twitter for it to happen?
You gotta hashtag battle it. Do like dramatic art, like JoJo art of them, like at each other, like.
I love that idea. I think that's probably what you have to do to get it done.
I will literally beg both of them to do it.
Yeah. I didn't do so well on What the List. I think I was on the first episode, and Noah destroyed me, and now I think Steph is on like a pretty good winning streak. So. I don't know when it'll happen. I hope it happens. That would be so much fun. And I think that the Brayton sisters would be really good against each other because they have a very good, myriad of pop culture knowledge. So I think that would be a good battle.
It's Christmas in 3 months. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. There we go. And that's the Christmas special. So obviously, you did a video on, Watchmojo did a video on PS5. Now, what we like to get your insight into, because we both own a PS4. I have a PS3. I think you've got a PS3, haven't you, Fraser?
PS3, PS4, and I had a PS2. And
Xbox. I've still got a PS1
for a while.
somewhere. So what's your take on the PS5?
To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that the last PlayStation console that I ever had was the PlayStation 1. We had that when I was a kid. I don't know that I think I prefer Xbox in general. But again, I'm more of a Switch girl. I'm more of a Nintendo girl.
I know a few people who's got a Switch, so I'm not going to argue with that. If you would have said Xbox was the best, I would have stopped the interview right now, because I'll tell you what, a funny story about Xbox, actually. My two best mates, this is when we had PS3 versus Xbox 360. They actually had Xbox 360s. And the old Circle of Death? Yeah. They actually had theirs on, sent them off to get replaced. One of my mates got his back. My other mate got somebody else's back.
Oh, no.
So immediately from that point on, it's like, right, we're selling these. We're having PS3s.
Yeah.
And they converted me, and I have been a PlayStation player ever since.
Yeah, I remember playing the Bugs Life PlayStation game when I was a kid. And I played it again recently, and it's the graphics are so terrible, but it's fun. So
What was that? I'll tell you one game I absolutely miss for PS3. It's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. It's the only Need for Speed game that I absolutely love. Just the soundtrack was killer as well. You had 30 Seconds to Mars. You had Benny Benassi. You had Deadmau5 on it, and I've still got that soundtrack on my. I've got those 3 songs on my Amazon playlist still because that's how much I love those songs because of that game. So then, Fraser, what games have we got for PS3 and PS4, just so we can try and entice Phoebe over to the light side and away from the dark side of Nintendo Switch?
Well, we got Spider-Man, since everyone likes to boast now, where it's like, Spider-Man's over here.
It is actually quite a very good game. I've actually had it. I think I had it since launch, and I'm really looking forward to Miles Morales. I couldn't pronounce his name for a second, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
They're doing a game with Miles Morales.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's that sounds fun.
It's only like a little add-on, but it's going to be for PS5.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Does that mean we've tempted her over, Face?
Yeah, I'm a little.
We're bringing her back to the light side. Yeah. Sony, I want royalties for doing that job for you.
Yeah.
I just imagine Sony in the office being like, "Yeah,
we converted this one person."
But a famous person. So then, Phrase, I believe you have a question for our dear Phoebe, don't you?
I saw on your Twitter you're hyped for the new DLC come to Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, are you kidding me? So to preface this, I'm not a video game person at all, and my boyfriend got us a Nintendo Switch, and I bought him the Breath of the Wild because all of my colleagues were raving about it, and it was Christmas, so I wanted him to get him a game for it. So anyway, he played it a little bit and then kind of left it behind, and then I took over and started playing it. And I thought it was hard, the fighting was hard, and I wasn't very good at it. And then it literally took over my life. I was especially when quarantine first started, I was playing it for 6 hours a day, and it's just the best thing in the world. And I've been waiting very anxiously for the sequel. And when that trailer came out for the DLC, I was I thought it was the sequel, so I started crying.
Oh, bless you.
And then I found out it was a prequel, and I was like, oh, yes, I'm excited for that anyway. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Didn't we also find out, Fraser, that she loves The Legend of Zelda?
Legend of Zelda is that series that no matter what, everybody loves it, which I love.
I haven't really played it, so I'm not really a fan.
Yeah, it's so good. Exception. So good.
Yeah, come on, you've known me decades, mate. Come on. So yeah, you are actually a Legend of Zelda fan.
Yeah, though big time fan. Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite Legend of Zelda game?
Breath of the Wild. It's the best game of all time. It's the game that got me into video games.
Isn't that a certain Bill Tendo's favorite game, Fraser?
Yep, he always talks about it every single time.
The one game he doesn't talk about is Shadow of the Colossus, honestly. You just go on and just basically say how boring it is, how rubbish it is, how the Colossus aren't actually killing you. They're trying to get them off you. They're basically trying to get you off them.
It gets funnier every time because someone will bring it up out of nowhere and you'll just see him react.
Yeah.
It's I wish I had a highlight reel of it to stick on here because it's just that funny.
It is actually.
Passionate.
He is, yeah. He's very passionate, bless him. So, has your love of movies, comic books, reality TV, everything that you've list-wise that you've done on Watchmojo, has it actually increased since you've joined Watchmojo?
Yeah, big time. I thought I was a pop culture fan before I started working at Watchmojo. And Watchmojo has such an interesting culture where everyone is pretty much exactly the same in terms of the things that they find interesting. So we've always said that we would love to have a Cards Against Humanity game against other Watchmojo employees because we all have the same kind of sense of pop culture, the same sense of humor. But yeah, you have to be up to date in order to work in that industry. And so it's really motivating to, keep up to date with the latest pop culture trends, which includes historical stuff too, and reality TV, movies, television. So yeah, big time, big time.
Right, we're just going to do a little. I ask everyone this who I interview. So obviously, cinemas have kind of gone a bit. Have been shut since for the last 6 months. I mean, in England they're back open, but do you see cinema being the future of entertainment, or do you see like Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max? In your case, I haven't got it for whatever reason. So, would you say cinemas are still the future, or do you think it'll rely on streaming services more?
Well, I'm not like one of those elitist people who like, looks down on like Netflix originals, like a Steven Spielberg type who like is constantly shading streaming services when they're coming out with like these amazing movies and stuff. But at the same time, I love the idea of like a cinematic release or going to see a movie outside of the comfort of your own home. It's just like this really special experience. I hope that cinemas are not a thing of the past because it's just a really fun thing to do. Yeah.
Well, you just made Christopher Nolan very happy, and you made me happy because you'd be surprised how many people that I've interviewed actually think that cinemas will still be valid. Because I think if I was going to have a guess, I'd say about 3/4 of them I've interviewed have actually said that cinemas will still be valid. It might surprise a lot of people, but I'm not actually surprised by that at all because, like I said, everyone thinks how you and I think. I'm sure Fraser feels the same way.
I love going to the theater. Like when Spider-Man came out, when Tom Holland got the role, I actually took my daughter, and she always loves going to the movies. I bought her the Spider-Man costume, so she had the mask, the suit. She got the Spider-Man head, like popcorn ball and everything. So like I'll always love going to the movies because when I was a kid, I went to like the drive-through for like Batman and everything, and I want to be able to still do that with my kids. It's not the same when you just sit at home. It's nice that I can just get her little things and just share that memory. So like I'll always have a like soft spot for movie theaters.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Not to mention Chris Nolan makes movies designed for IMAX. And I have seen literally near enough all of them. I think I've seen everything from Batman onwards, but I have not seen Insomnia or Memento in cinemas, but I do want them to be re-released at some point. So let's talk about Phoebe, not Phoebe from Watchmojo, Phoebe. So what are you passionate about and what are your interests?
It's hard to talk about my passions and my interests without talking about Watchmojo because really what I'm passionate about is pop culture, movies, television. It's something that I've always been interested in since I was young. When I was in high school, I took film classes, which is what kind of like spurred my excitement about pop culture and film. And now luckily I get to work in that industry, which is like really, really a blessing. But I'm definitely passionate about that. I'm also passionate about, music. That's something that I don't really get a chance to talk about a lot because of, we are more focused on movies and television and stuff. But it's really hard to separate Phoebe from Watchmojo and Phoebe as a person because that's a part of me. So that's my answer.
Fair enough. Can't really argue with that.
What are some of your favorite bands?
Oh yeah.
I'm obsessed with Fleet Foxes. So they just released a new album. Why are you shaking your head?
I thought you were going to say One Direction for a minute. I'm like, please don't say One Direction.
Could you imagine if I was like, I'm passionate about music and I said I love One Direction? No, I love pop music too. I'm not shading anybody for liking pop music. But I love Fleet Foxes right now. They just released a new album. That kind of indie music I find is really fun. But I like Motown music the most, I think. Like Motown is like my favorite genre of music. My sister lives in Detroit and I've been to the Motown Museum there like 3 times. It's so much fun. But yeah, I kind of range because I'm also like a pop music fan.
Yeah.
Right now I like BTS, honestly. But yeah, I like lots of different things.
Not a T Swift fan then?
Her new album is really good, actually. It's really good.
I will agree because that is the first album in how not just talking Taylor, I'm talking anyone that I've actually listened all the way through, and I will still listen to everything all the way through.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I was a really big fan of Red. I think it was maybe her fourth studio album. I don't
Yeah.
remember, but I was a huge fan of that album. It had like a really, really just a great sound. And then she kind of veered off more into like the poppy, kind of like a Katy Perry vibe, which I love Katy Perry, but I prefer that style from Taylor Swift. And this album was just like a breath of fresh air. Like her last album was too like bubblegum, like singles on the radio. And this album had a little bit more substance, which I enjoyed it a lot. And I felt the same way. I listened to it from beginning to end and I liked every song. So
the only thing I will say, I did go and see her Reputation Stadium tour. She was absolutely brilliant.
really,
Although, I do bring up One Direction, but the guest we had was actually Niall from One Direction.
you had Niall from One Direction on your
Yes, we
podcast?
did. No, we had him. As in Taylor had him when because she had a special guest every night.
Okay.
She had a different special in Toronto. I believe she actually had Bryan Adams. Now I saw that. I saw that on YouTube the next day, and I'm like, that would have been an epic night. That.
Yeah. Very Canadian.
I'm surrounded by Canadians. I am literally becoming an adoptive Canadian. So, all right. So it is 27th of September at the time of recording. Have you got an exclusive Watchmojo list for us that you can talk about?
God, I can't even think. Well, I mean, we always have like, from month to month, we do stuff like top 10 movies that are coming to Netflix in October. So we actually have a special video coming out that has to do with movies coming to Netflix and Halloween. So I won't give away the punch, but it's actually a really fun video. There's a lot of good stuff coming to Netflix in October, including the new season of the Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor. I would never watch that. I don't do horror, but I know a lot of people are really excited for that. So.
Oh, I do horror. I've watched somebody's ribcage come out in a Saw movie, and I've just ate a cheese and tomato pizza and just, I don't see what the problem is.
No.
That's the sort of movie guy I am. By the way, if you do a Halloween list about movies and Freddy Alvarez's Evil Dead is not on there, I would unsubscribe from Watchmojo.
Yeah, that's like the new version of it, right? The Evil Dead?
I have never said a remake is better than the original. I watched that. I absolutely changed my mind. Freddy Alvarez, what he did with that movie is literally what Sam Raimi would have done in the 80s. It was absolutely brilliant, and it was more brutal.
Bite your tongue. There is no Evil Dead without Bruce Campbell.
Yes, technically he was in that. He was in that at the end, I'll have you know.
Yes, but if Ash Williams is not there, groovy, chainsaw, boomstick, the one-liners, and obviously getting shot down left, right, and center by every female character, it is not an actual Evil Dead movie.
Remind me, how well did Ash vs. Evil Dead turn out?
It got 3 seasons, and people still want more.
I don't.
And Bruce Campbell also has a rap song made after him as well by a nerdcore rapper. So,
oh god,
nice.
You're suddenly becoming the nerd brigade, ladies and gentlemen.
I love Bruce Campbell. My brother introduced me to Evil Dead early, and like Bruce Campbell will always be Ash Williams, and Evil Dead will always be Ash Williams. So,
nah, I'm gonna disagree with you. I will say one thing: Freddy Alvarez's "Don't Breathe." Oh my god, that I am not claustrophobic as such. That made me claustrophobic.
See, that's a horror movie that I would watch because I don't do like paranormal horror movies. I don't like anything to do with like possession or anything like that. I can't handle that. It's just I'm too sensitive. But like a slasher movie or like, something like Don't Breathe, which is kind of like it's more like a thriller than it is a horror movie to me.
Yeah.
I would watch that, and I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah. Just one thing. Well, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but there is a reason. A bit later on, towards like the last third of it, do not eat anything and definitely don't drink anything.
Oh my god. Okay. Thanks.
Because honestly, I was like, oh my god. I saw there's one bit in it, and I saw it, and you'll know when you see it. And I was just like, oh my god, he's not doing that. The fact is, he was going to do that.
Oof.
So, moving on to something a bit more positive in that note. What would you say are your career highlights? You can go down the whole being at Watchmojo is my career highlight if you wish.
No. I mean, yeah, but there are like specific things like when we went to TIFF, that was like, like a really once in a lifetime experience. That I'll never take for granted. That's something I'll remember forever. Being able to do like the junket too was really special. But TIFF was like, I think the best thing that I've done so far. Like I'm really happy with that.
All right. What does the future hold for Phoebe and Phoebe from Watchmojo?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm very happy and I love the work that I'm doing now. For my personal like career aspirations, like I've always wanted to work in television. I'm a big like Mindy Kaling fan, and Mindy Kaling's The Mindy Project is like my goal is to have like my own show, which I know is, definitely far-fetched, but that's something that like has always been a career aspiration for me. But I'm really happy where I am right now. So.
Well, just a bit of a spoiler alert. We started our wrestling podcast, 5-6 weeks ago?
About that.
Yeah. And
Not
we are
counting
literally,
the
we're literally brushing, we're literally brushing shoulders with probably the best interviewers and reporters that actually report wrestling on with regards to Impact Wrestling. So there you go. Success story. We are actually getting there, and we are progressing quicker and faster than we thought we were.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. So if that's possible, anything's possible.
Thanks.
All right, then. If anyone's been doing a Brendan Fraser and been trapped in a cave for about 10,000 years, where would people find you and Watchmojo on social media?
Well, you can follow me at Phoebe_WM on Twitter. I have an Instagram, but I'm inactive on it. I don't use it. I'm so bad at social media. And Watchmojo, I'm pretty sure it's just at Watchmojo, the OG.
Do follow her. She's absolutely lovely and funny as everything. So obviously, we've got a bit of time left. So yeah. I've developed a special quiz just for you. I've been looking forward to this. I spent about 3 days going over this, thinking, right, what can I ask her? What can I ask her? So the first question is, well, it's a bit obvious. What's your favourite list and your worst list that you've had to do?
Hands down, favorite list. I have two. Worst singing in musicals. Top 10 worst singers in musicals. It's like movie musicals. So there's like Russell Crowe in Les Miserables and like Pierce Brosnan in Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like if you haven't watched it yet, it's literally one of the funniest. Like it's a Ms. Mojo video, but it's literally one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. And then there's an oldie one from far before my time at Watchmojo, but it's top 10 worst accents in movies. And you have like Keanu Reeves in Dracula, yeah. And he's like, Budapest. It's so good. It's so funny.
What's the better? Alicia Silverstone's British accent from Batman and Robin's in there.
I don't remember, but if it was that bad, then it was probably on there.
She says compost. We say compost is how we say it in England. So the worst list you said that, haven't you? So, all right, what's the best and worst moment of your Watchmojo career?
Best, I would say, would be like a TIFF situation or like doing the Bloodshot junket. Those kinds of things are just like really a blessing and really fun. Worst, I mean, it's not like it doesn't have anything to do with Watchmojo, but like worst would probably be right now because, we're all separated from one another. So
I thought you were going to mean something else then. I was going to say.
No. It's not like it's not having to do with like Watchmojo itself. It's more that it's just kind of like things are just kind of like really slowed down and things are a little like stagnant, but it's not having to do with the career. It's just, I'm so bored. I love doing like really exciting stuff. I love being a part of like a lot of different things. So it's hard to be separated from everyone and not have that opportunity.
I'm meeting famous people. I bet you'd love to meet O'Shea Jackson again.
Oh my God, that was so special. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. I loved him so much in Straight Outta Compton.
Mm.
And when he walked up to us smiling, that was like such a special moment. Like I loved it.
Fraser, don't ask her about Jamie Foxx, whatever you do.
Why?
I seem to remember on that red carpet when you met O'Shea Jackson, Jamie Foxx looked at you and literally had the meanest look on his face ever and just walked away from you.
Yeah, he had like a really big entourage, and I think it was you probably thought that he was like looking at me and giving me the look, but
Yeah.
there's so many people on a red carpet. You're literally like fish in a barrel, like one after another. So it's just everybody trying to get their mic in there, you know, to get like a soundbite or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was the big star in that movie, so he didn't have to do the interviews, which that's what I appreciated so much about O'Shea Jackson, because he is a huge star and he went to like every single person down the line. So that told me what I needed to know about him, is that he's a very nice person.
Yeah. So his dad's a real hard ass, but actually he's raised quite a lovely gentleman.
Yeah, he has.
All right then. What's the one list you wish you could do? Or if you could do it, you would do it, if that makes any sense. I hope I'm not confusing you with that.
I don't know. I mean, there have been lists that it hasn't been the right time, or it's just like it doesn't make sense, or people wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anything specific. Like we don't really do like any like negative lists in terms of like celebrities.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fun to do like a times this terrible celebrity did something awful. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like something like that. But I can't think of anything specific.
I think the other problem is if you actually did a list like that, someone would say, well, that's not mean. That's actually quite acceptable. It's just people's perception of it. Sorry, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Fraser have literally argued over Ash and the Evil Dead. That's literally what we've done right in front of you. So I think that's the best example you could really ask for, really.
Yeah.
All right. If you could collaborate on a list with anyone, doesn't matter who it is, it could be O'Shea Jackson if you wish, who would it be?
It would be, one of my favorite YouTubers is Drew Gooden.
I think I've heard that name.
Yeah, he does like commentary videos and like comedy videos. And like I am like a huge fan of him, but he's always dunking on Watchmojo. And it hurts, but I would love to collaborate with a list with him, because he seems to have a lot of opinions about Watchmojo. So I'd love to do one with him and see what he thinks would work.
Ooh.
Like the video has to kick off, like you're knocking on his door, he throws it open, and you're just like, Drew! Like all
Grab a battery
dramatic.
round from Lord of the Rings. Bang it in there, saying, Drew, I want you.
It's all love. It's all love. No, I would love to collaborate with him on a list, because he's one of my favorite YouTubers, and he coincidentally has made several videos about Watchmojo. So I think it would be fun.
All right. Who was your first celebrity crush? And just to put you at ease, I will tell you who mine is. I don't know if Fraser wants to join in.
Do it.
But I will tell you who mine is.
Okay, go.
I had two crushes when I was a teenager. First one was Rachel Stevens, who was in S Club 7. I'm sure you remember her. She still looks as lovely as she does today. And my other one was Trish Stratus, former WWE Women's Champion.
Wow.
Mine was Sky Sweetenham, who is now Sever in Psycho Sumo.
Nice.
I don't know who the hell that is. I'm just going to agree with him on that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, this is like way back. This is probably like early mid 2000s. So,
mate, Rachel Stevens was 1999,
and
Trish was 2000, as you know, because you're a wrestling historian. You know that.
And before that, like any other 90s kid, it was the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers. So.
Oh yeah, I must admit, I was an Amy Jo Johnston fan, to be honest. Can't lie. So yes, who was your first celebrity crush?
I have a good story about this.
Right.
My first, there's two that are really funny stories, so I want to tell them both. The first one was, oh my God, what was his name? He played the Artful Dodger in Oliver. I think his name is Jack Wilde.
Yeah.
And So anyway, I was a big fan of that movie when I was a kid. And so I had a huge crush on the guy who played the Artful Dodger. And so, my dad sent him a letter on my behalf, and he actually sent me a letter back. So that was really special and cute. And then I guess my second most impactful one was I had a big crush on Haley Joel Osment.
Oh my God.
When he was a kid, like not now, like when he was a kid, when he was in like, what's that movie he did with Robert Duvall? It's like something about like lions, secondhand lions.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Secondhand lions.
About.
And Pay It Forward. I had a big crush on him, and I like printed out photos of him and myself, and I put like our faces on a bride and groom, and I bought myself like a fake engagement ring. I was a child, but it was really funny. Yeah.
I take it the childhood crush on Haley Joel Osment has well and truly gone.
Oh, it's very far gone. I remember being devastated when I found out that he was arrested for like a DUI. And like I was still like a kid at that point, and I was like, I can't be in love with him anymore. He's a bad person.
I'm still in love with Rachel Stevens. I'm still in love with Trish Stratus. To be fair, there's probably not a wrestling fan out there that isn't still finds Trish Stratus fancy. But to be fair, she's not changed over the 2 decades. All right then. This is going to be a bit of a weird question. I'm not even sure I should ask this, but what's the weirdest rumor you've heard about yourself?
I've never heard a rumor about myself, but there is something that like kind of has to do with that bothers me a little bit. I think that a lot of the times people assume that because myself or Rebecca or Ashley did the voiceover for a list, that list necessarily reflects our own personal opinions. And I think a lot of people lash out at the voiceover artist when they disagree with something, or they think that something that's being said is inappropriate. So I find that really frustrating to deal with, because you take a lot of abuse from people who are like, and you had nothing to do with it. All you did was read words off of a piece of paper. So that's a bit frustrating, but I've never heard a rumor about myself. I'd be curious to know what people would make up.
Well, put it this way: there's the worst 2 things in history are the middleman and the messenger. So unfortunately, you've had the messenger. So all you need now is to be the middleman, and you've had them both. Yeah. All right. I did have a lot in this, but we are a bit precious time, so I'm going to cut it short a little bit. So obviously, like me, you're a big movie fan. Would you like to cameo or star in a movie? Obviously, depending on what it was.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to be in a movie. That would be really fun. I'd love to do like, I don't know, something fun, like a rom-com or something light, or like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I love sci-fi. Right, this question is actually down Fraser's alley. If a casting agent from Marvel or DC came to you and said, "We would like you in our universes," which one would you take? Would you take both for our offers? And the next question is, whose would you prioritize over the others? I will answer this as well, and I don't know if Fraser wants to, because he's a big comic book fan, so it might be a bit difficult for him.
Jeez, you just want to poke at the comic fans. That's like dangerous territory.
But I'll tell you what, I will actually be first. I do love the MCU, I will be honest, but I've been a Batman fan for about 25, 26 years. So for me, DC over Marvel any day because of Batman.
Okay, I want to be the last to answer. You go first.
Go on, phrase.
I love DC because, Superman's always like my favorite one. Boy Scout. Marvel's got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a route most people probably haven't thought of. I'd go with Image Comics. I really loved Robert Kirkman's Invincible. And I loved Rat Queens. So I probably would go with Image, because Image has so many good books that I don't think get enough focus. Like, I bought Black Magic for my wife, and she kind of was getting a bit out of comics, and she reads every issue that comes out. So I have to give it to Image.
There's your next list, actually.
Marvel, baby. Marvel.
So,
DC movies are too dark for me. Like, I know that they just did, what's that movie?
They've done a lot. Aquaman.
No, the really funny one. The funny one with the...
Oh, Shazam.
Shazam. Yeah.
Like that.
But honestly, Marvel is more my like steez in terms of it being like light and funny. DC is good. I mean, I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, but yeah, who doesn't, right? That's a stupid thing to say. But
somebody's out there that doesn't, in which case you're a moron.
But yeah, definitely Marvel.
Well, saying that, DC might be getting better because there's Flashpoint coming when it eventually comes, and Wonder Woman is being touted as either a reboot or a soft reboot of the DCEU. So we'll see where it goes after Wonder Woman when it eventually comes out. Because it's been put back about 4 times, I think. I think it's out about Christmas time now. So while we're on that, if you binge watch, do you binge watch Amazon Prime, Apple Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus? There is a DC channel, isn't there? The
DC Universe, but I think they're moving most stuff to HBO Max.
Yeah, so we'll say that, and HBO is one then.
Netflix and Disney Plus. Those are the only 2 that I have. Disney Plus sucks though, honestly. Like it's not very good. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree because
it's shit.
Mine always crashes no matter what I'm watching. And like I'll reset the route and everything. It always crashes or freezes or the title doesn't work. I actually tweeted about it and then all of a sudden it started working and then it just stopped working again. So I haven't used it as much.
Yeah, we only got it to watch The Mandalorian. And then we were like, well, there's other stuff on here. And there really isn't. There's really nothing. Like there's a lot of like teen movies that are like from like the late 2000s that I have no interest in watching. They had like Home Alone at one point and then it was gone. So I don't know why I still have it, but anyway, I that's something that I'll watch, and I watch Netflix.
The first thing on my Disney Plus list when I finish watching X-Men Evolution on Amazon Prime will be to watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers from the 90s.
Classic.
I know.
I'm just hoping for the next Mando season, so that's why I still have mine.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited for it. Like, I'm not really a big like Star Wars person, but Baby Yoda just does something to me. I'm just obsessed with him.
I have a Baby Yoda.
I saw that the other day in a store, and I was gonna buy it, and now I think I should have.
Build-A-Bear. My lady bought me that, and I didn't.
Build-A-Bear?
Yeah, Build-A-Bear's gotten Baby Yoda. It's sold out a few times, but they've been getting them in. Walmart got like some of the Baby Bear. I can't talk today. Baby Yoda plushies and stuff.
Oh my god!
If we get O'Shea Jackson, you cannot do that. If Phoebe's kept her cool, you can. I don't know why you're laughing, because now comes your question that I've been looking forward to asking you, and you know what it is. I've developed, well, not so much. It's kind of adapted from what other TV companies use and shows called. It's called "Why Am I So Popular?" Where I give you 4 names. She knows what's coming as well, and you have to tell me who you would call, who you would text, who you would ignore, and who you would block. Now, Fraser, I've made this quite interesting. I've made this very interesting because her choices are 4 of her Watchmojo co-hosts.
That's cold. That is like water cooler exile cold. Like, I wouldn't even go there because you don't do that.
It's all in good fun, and besides, if I ever get them on, I'll be asking them as well. So
yeah,
and I won't be revealing themselves. So we're
Canadians, Dean. We're Canadians. There's a stereotype about being too nice, which every pro wrestler is technically broken if you look at Edge. But there's a reason why Canadians are so nice.
This country, ladies and gentlemen, is where Deadpool came from. So
that
your choice
is all because of his creator. I don't think that technically counts.
He's in a war with Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine is like our bad boy Canadian. We love him. Deadpool is like he spent too much time watching TV, not enough time playing outside building forts.
Right, I'll just ask her because I have actually given her my answers. So
I'm ready. I'm ready.
She knows I have actually answered her, so she knows what my answers are, and I'll tell you what mine are. So your choices are the Brayton sisters, Emily and Rebecca. There's Elise from Miss Mojo, and Ashley.
Ashley. So it's what? It's text,
So you got
answer.
call, text, ignore, block.
Okay, so to preface this one, I'll get the hardest one out of the way.
Go on then.
Elise has been my closest friend for like the past 6 years.
Yeah.
So I would block her.
Ouch!
I would block her in a second.
I'm writing all these answers down for future use.
That's accurate for best friends.
Sorry?
That's accurate when you're like best friends with someone. It's like that love-hate relationship because you can just like butt heads and be cool the next day. So.
Yeah. I would block her and then I would call her the next day. I think if Emily Brayton was calling me, I would be curious to know, so I would answer.
So
because we're more of a texting pair, I would say.
Yeah.
Rebecca, I would probably text her if she
Yes.
called me. And Ashley, I hate to do it to him, but I would probably ignore because I don't have his number, so I wouldn't know that it was him calling me.
I like the answers, to be honest, because that's what I would actually say. Because if I don't know their number, I block them, so that's fair enough.
Okay, I want to know if I called you, what would you do? Would you block me?
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
I'd call you back.
Both of you.
I'd
call
you
me
back.
Okay, good.
What
would you do,
Grace?
Michael?
What would you do? Come
I'd
on.
call back. Like if I know the person that's calling me and I don't pick it up, like if I'm like washing my hands or doing the dishes or playing with my kids, I'd call the person back because I wouldn't just like leave them hang with that like that. It's pretty rude.
So we need all four of you on, and then we're going to ask Fraser that question in front of all four of them.
Uh-oh.
I know I'm such a mean person, I know, but it's so much fun in the same time as well. And Phoebe does know that I will ask if I get them on, I will ask them that same question. Then we'll have to get everyone on for a comparison about who would actually call who back and who would ignore who.
This is going to lead to like the Watchmojo Awards. There's going to be like a trailer of distrust and desks pushed over and like water guns.
It's going to be like that TJ Miller. Was it TJ Miller? TJ Miller DC Universe movie he did when it was just absolute madness and bedlam. Right, so we've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to make this very quick. So what's your ideal evening with your favorite movie to watch? So I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is take out Netflix and chill for say about 3 hours, and then a gaming session, and then I go to bed. That's my ideal evening.
Nice. That sounds amazing. I actually had an ideal night last night. We made dinner. We watched Enola Holmes, which is actually fantastic. Like I loved it. And we played Mario Kart. That was fun.
Oh, which Mario Kart?
The one for the Switch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I still maintain the SNES one is the best.
It's sick though. It's so much fun. We played Mario Kart and but lately I've been watching Lost a lot. I have never watched it before, so I'm watching it for the first time. And that's like a fun like all evening type of activity because it's so like engrossing that you can't look away. So we're watching like 6 episodes every night.
Yikes. Come on then, Fraser. I've done mine. Phoebe's done hers. What would your ideal evening be?
Pretty much, I did this a couple of nights ago with my kids. Actually, just getting popcorn, hanging out, going out in nature because I live in a small town, so there's like a lot of woods and everything, and then coming home and watching Frankie Weenie, having popcorn with my kids because we all love Tim Burton movies. So.
Oh, that's so cute.
You do know making popcorn was what killed Drew Barrymore in Scream. That's not really a good start.
Yeah, but like I have enough locks on the door. My landlord pretty much like decked out the house with like the cams so you can see if people are coming and everything. And we've had enough bears come through here enough times that like I'm more worried about the bears than I would be the character from Scream coming in. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's scary.
Right, so last question. Obviously, you probably know more about everything than me and Fraser do put together. So what would you recommend in the world of entertainment for Watchmojo fans across the world and for everyone who's watching or listening? Just only has to be a few things. It doesn't have to be like a full list, which I would probably do.
Oh God. Well, the new Fleet Foxes album for music. Um, for a movie, I mean, I watched Enola Holmes yesterday. I have to say it's fantastic. I don't know if the Watchmojo demographic would be interested in it, but it's really good.
I've been meaning
Um,
to watch that. I might even watch that next week because it does look
yeah,
good.
it's phenomenal.
It's British.
Um, yeah, and it's British. It's nice to see Millie Bobby Brown speaking in her native accent.
And doing something
Uh,
other than Stranger Things. Yeah, I entirely agree.
Yeah, I mean I love Stranger Things. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But yeah, she's phenomenal in that. For TV, I mean I can't recommend Lost. That's what I'm watching right now. Everybody's already seen Lost. It's like I'm the one who is late to the bandwagon, so
Anything else, or is that it? I'll tell you what. Since Fraser has is quite a comic book fan, what comic book movie would you recommend for him?
what comic book movie would I recommend for him?
Say Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. Have you seen it
So,
yet? Have you seen it?
I've heard things. I know
Uh-huh.
I've gotten to see two different actors play Bloodshot. I've seen was it Vin Diesel and Jason David Frank because the Valiant web series.
Hmm.
So
Well, you could watch Bloodshot and you could listen to Vin Diesel's new single. Did you hear about
Yep.
that?
I have heard about
no,
that actually. I've
I
actually
know
heard it,
he's a
and I
big
am actually
Dungeons and
quite
Dragons
impressed that a
fan,
50-year-old man
but
can sing that well.
It's really something. That's all I have to say about that.
And on that, ladies and gentlemen, Phoebe, I am sure I speak for Fraser here and everyone watching and listening when I say it has been an honour to have you on, and I hope that either you will come on here and you'll have us probably on the maybe on Watch That List where Fraser can do his comic book one and literally obliterate everyone.
Yeah.
we'll be here all day. I have like 500 plus comic books. I had to go from like one of those comic boxes to like one of those big Tupperware bins. So
Nice.
So definitely the best movie podcast we've ever had, and I'm sure Fraser will agree with me on that, ladies and gentlemen. From Watchmojo, I give you Phoebe.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun and I appreciate it.
Appreciate it too.